Hey, welcome back to the Independent Seniors family. Today, we're going to talk about something incredibly important. All right, the title of the episode is Smart People Get Scammed Too. And I want to start with this. People that get scammed, they're not foolish or dumb. Right? Most of the time, what's happening is they get tricked into thinking that they're protecting themselves, protecting their assets or their money, or protecting someone they love. And we must understand that scammers, man, they're highly intelligent, right? And we need to protect ourselves from their tactics. So today's episode, we're going to talk about some steps that we can take to protect ourselves from scammers. Our first is, why are scammers so successful? We'll go over some common scenarios that we can all look out for, and you can talk with your friends about. What are some indicators of a scam? And we'll talk about why victims are not foolish. And then it's the biggest red flag that we got to look out for. And lastly, let's talk to people we trust, because a lot of times that's enough for us. All right, we got some work to do here. All right, the first section, scammers are highly intelligent. So let's just take that in. They're highly intelligent. And we might think, well, they're dumb because they're just calling people to scam them out of money. But they really study human behavior and emotions. Right? And then they practice how to use fear to get people not thinking correctly. They use urgency because if we're not thinking correctly and then we're being pushed to be urgent, and we tend to make mistakes or make decisions that we wouldn't normally make. They build trust over time. Scams don't happen in one phone call. They're in it for the long haul. It's many conversations over many weeks and sometimes even months. And then confusion. By throwing just different information, misinformation. We're asking questions and they're not really giving us the answers. But then we might think how do they know so much about me? Well, a lot of times it's from social media. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're saying, but I don't have social media. Yeah, maybe you don't. But the people that love you have social media. Your family has social media. And eventually you make it on to their social media. So social media is not the enemy. It's not a bad thing. It's just we have to be aware that people can learn about us from social media. There's public records where people can go to the county and pull public records. And then family photos, again, online, social media, different platforms. They're really skilled at sounding professional and believable. I mean, they're like actors. They're practicing. A lot of us will go to get a new job and we go to training for that job. Well, scammers, they do the same thing. They have teams. And they'll practice and they'll come up with new ideas. They're brainstorming, like writing movie scripts or episodes. And then they practice the role playing because they really do take on these personalities and these personas of other people. And sometimes they'll transfer you. Oh, we got to talk to another department, and they'll transfer you over. So they use technology on their side, even making fake websites sometimes. So let's just understand that they're very smart. They're practicing their skills. They're using technology to take advantage of us. The key message here is scammers, they don't go after or attack our intelligence, right? They go after us in here, in our heart, with our emotions. And then we're going to get into that too. Okay, common scam scenarios. Now, these are just some types of scenarios that have been used before. And remember, these guys, they're smart, so they're constantly changing the storyline that they're using. So here are some we're going to talk about. Family emergency scams. A grandson is in jail. A granddaughter was in an accident. Or sometimes it's a son or a daughter. It'll kind of sound something like this. Oh, hey, grandma. Hey, grandpa. Yeah, this is Johnny. Look, don't tell mom. Okay, I was with my friends on a trip to Mexico and I was arrested. But they're going to let me go. I just need to send them $5,000. So can you help me? Yeah, send it to this account and they're going to let me go. Please don't tell mom. She told me not to go, not even to come. I'm going to get in trouble. And then, our heart rate starts getting up, right? Are you okay? Are you okay? Yes, I'm going to send you the money right away. That way I can get you out of there. So family emergency scams. That's not the only type, but that's just one of them. Another one to be careful for is romance and relationship scams. Now, sometimes we fall for these ones because we get lonely and someone reaches out to us. And these ones, these last a long time, many months. Right? They build emotional trust over time. Just talking on the phone, fake pictures, fake profiles. Remember, they're using technology on their side. At some point, they start asking for money. There's an emergency. They need cash or some kind of a currency for something. So relationships, romance scams, and it's difficult because even over the phone and email and everything, we can kind of build that emotional connection, and then it's hard for other people to tell us. We hear like, "You're getting scammed. That's not even a real person. You haven't even met them before." And we become defensive, right? Because this emotional connection kind of overrides the logic people are telling us. So I think it's okay if we're experiencing a romance. Have I met the person? Are they asking me for money before I even met them in person? And I think those are questions that are okay for us to ask ourselves and we be honest with ourselves about. All right, we have account and security scams. Now, you guys are seeing these all the time, right? I'm sure email, your text messages. Amazon's a big one. Amazon packages failed to be delivered. Click the link below so you can set up your delivery. Don't ever click the link. Just delete. All right. So bank fraud alerts. It looks like your account has been a fraudulent activity. Please click the link below. PayPal, credit card issues. All right. Sometimes they'll call. People will call and say, "Do you have an Amazon delivery account?" Or, "Hey, something's wrong with your bank account. Can you give us your social so we can look it up?" Institutions, legitimate institutions, never call you asking for your social, ever. So if a bank institution is calling you, asking you for information, hang up right away. It happened to me one time. Someone was calling me. There's a, "Hey, we got something wrong with I think one of my Army accounts. Can you give me your social?" And I said, "No, I don't want to do that. Tell you what, I'm going to hang up, and then I have a number for you guys. I'm going to call you guys back, and I'm going to ask if this is a legitimate call." And I did that, and there's a number I knew that was the number. And then I called, and they said it was legitimate, but I spoke to that person. So just be aware. Government and police scams. People have been caught up where police will call you. Someone will call you pretending to be the police. Police don't call you. There's "Hey, we've noticed some criminal activity in one of your bank accounts and some investment accounts," and they freak you out saying, you could be going to jail. I'll tell you what, we need you to send us some money because we're going to use this money to catch the real criminal. And people get caught because now I'm afraid I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to go to prison. All right, and people have lost hundreds of thousands, millions, over the course of time, tens of millions of dollars. Social security scams. All right, calling you, asking for your information. Don't ever give information out, ever. All right, and a important reminder is that scam tactics change constantly. So I give you 4 just so you can think about, but there's going to be more. And as these scams stop working, as people become aware, they switch over to different ones. All right, so that's common scam scenarios. All right, let's move on. Okay, indicators you may be dealing with a scam. All right. Listen to these. These are really important. These will save us so much heartache. May save us our retirement savings account, right? If you're being told lines that sound like, are similar to this, do not tell your family. Do not contact anyone. This is confidential. So do not, don't tell mom, don't tell dad, right? Don't tell my wife, don't tell my spouse. Don't contact anybody about this. There's a gag order, or has to be kept secret, or we're going to lose the investigation. Has to be kept secret, or all the work we've done up to this point is going to be no good. Right? This is confidential. No one should know about this. All right. They're going to want you to act immediately. When the ball starts rolling, right? After the trust and the relationship is established, they're going to say, okay, now we need to move. We need the money fast. We need to do this, this, and this. All right. The threats involving, all right, so it can start as like criminal charges, then arrest, and then harm to a loved one. So they'll kind of stack the fear. If we're not taking action on, fast enough, then they're going to throw more at us saying, hey, if you don't do it, this and this is now going to happen. Right? Requests to keep the situation secret that's a key indicator. Because what do we tell our children growing up, right? We say, don't keep secrets. Secrets are never good. And they're still not good, even as we're older adults, right? Secrets keep us in isolation from others, like disconnected. And that's what they want, right? So they want isolation. They don't want us reaching out for support. So that's why they say, let's keep secrets. All right, so key indicator, secrets. All right, let's move on. Now, people who get scammed, right, they're not foolish. They're not dumb. And sometimes we say that, right? When we're looking from the outside in, we see someone telling their story. But what happened is they got caught into a long-term, it's a scam where people play, they pretend they know you, get to know you, build a relationship, and you think you know people. And then they go after you when they feel like there's a connection there. And all that person was doing was, working on protecting themselves in some way. Maybe protecting their finances in some particular way, or helping someone that they love. Someone that they love is in danger, and if they don't take action, that person could be hurt. Right? And they use fear and stress to make us take action. And fear and stress, it affects the way we think, right? Because when we're in fear and we're stressed out, we don't think logically anymore. We don't say, should I question this? What we do is we act irrationally based on our emotions and what we're feeling in our heart and our gut, and that's when we get ourselves in trouble. All right, they create emotional panic, and what happens is good and caring people, they become the targets because they're the ones that want to help. Right, so the key message here is good people get scammed because they care. Right? We want to keep caring, right? So we're going to keep caring about people, but we're just going to make sure that we're aware, all right? And we're not going to let them attack us because we do care. All right, let's move on. Now let's talk about the biggest red flag, right? This is where we're going to stop immediately, hang up the phone, tell everybody what's going on. All right? Here it comes. When we start getting requests for money or financial information, that's when we 100% have to realize, okay, something is not right here. This is a scam. Because people that care about you, love you, want the best for you, usually don't say, hey, send me some money. Give me your bank information. Where do you have your investments? And I think we can all agree there. Right? Maybe the request is not for like money itself. It could be gift cards. Many gift cards. Wire transfers. People have given up cryptocurrency. Again, bank account information and credit card information. So it's not just like hard cash, especially nowadays, because money comes in many different forms. The money usually got to be sent immediately, and they'll follow up. And a lot of times after you send the money, that's it. Contact is over, unless they think maybe they can get money a couple more times. Right? Don't ever give out passwords or security codes. Ever. There's no reason for that. And let's just remember that legitimate organizations and businesses, they don't demand payment over the phone, right? And then if you say, hey, I need a couple more times, they don't usually get aggressive. Sometimes they'll get aggressive, and just be aware legitimate companies aren't saying, pay me right now. All right, so action step. Someone says, hey, so I had an emergency, my roof is leaking, or I need $5,000 or $10,000, or hey, if you don't give me this money, your grandson is gonna stay in jail, or your daughter is in the hospital, and if you don't send us $20,000, we can't start the operation. We need your bank account information because it's been leaked, and if we don't get it, we can't fix it, and people can take all your money. So send us the money right now. That's when you know. Hang up, hang up, hang up, hang up. Throw the phone against the wall. No, don't throw your phone against the wall. We still need our phones. But hang up and call the police. All right, just stop and let's talk to somebody. All right, and that's what we're going to talk about next, is talking to somebody. All right, so talk to someone that you trust. Right, family member, close friend, oh, even the bank. Now, let's be careful, because there has been scams where they'll say, hey, if you don't believe me, here, call the institution. They can look us up online at www whatever, and then people go to that website, and it's a fake website. It's happened. So just make sure that you're using the numbers that you have saved in your phone or through the website that you know and trust, one you saved on your computer. Right? Call law enforcement. Let them know what's going on. It's very difficult to catch these criminals, these scammers, but let's let law enforcement know, because they might ask you about, okay, what tactic did they use? What were they telling you? And that goes a long way just for helping, educate other people. And that's really what we're doing here, right? We want to educate. Well, at first I educated myself and realized this is messed up what they're doing. And now I'm educating you. And then now, if you can educate one other person and that person educates one other person, then less people will get scammed. Right? Remember to always take time before we make decisions, and never be embarrassed to ask for help. Especially if, say scammers, a lot of times they get money out of people multiple times. And let's say you did fall for the scam the first time and sent somebody $5,000. It happened. You spent $5,000, $10,000. Tell somebody. Don't feel embarrassed, because that could save you a lot more pain in the future. Right? Don't let scammers isolate you, right, by keeping secrets. Trusted people bring clarity. So talk to someone you trust. Right? The biggest message here is, we want to be strong. We want to be independent, and we need to use our support systems, because strong people, independent, connected people use support systems. All right, so let's close out this episode. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me in this episode. My name is Joshua Sevier, and my wife and I, Christine Sevier, look her up online. You can see the work that we do. More than 8 years ago, we started a business called Creating New Hope. And we've helped seniors move, downsize, even move into independent, assisted living, and memory care at times, and also help them buy and sell homes. We would love to be your move or your downsize, your real estate resource. So please reach out to us with any questions that you might have, any thoughts and ways we might be able to help you at resource@theindependentseniors.com. Hey, I hope you enjoyed yourself today, and let's protect ourselves from these scammers.